Every day, you essentially pay your dues by doing the harder thing when it's the right thing to do.
You know, the drama starts at the top. And I remember the day that I realized that I was just noticing how dramatic and cliquey and gossipy our higher levels were being, and that I was disappointed that the level 5 group was standing there staring at them, listening to every word of it. And then later that night, I was doing the same thing about our coaching staff that were not fulfilling the basic expectations of the job. And I went home and I was like, you know what? This starts with me. Like, these kids are acting like this because I'm acting like this. So I need to do something about it first. If these coaches aren't fulfilling the basic expectations of the job to help keep the kids safe and provide the best quality experience, then why are they working for me? What are we doing? Why am I holding on to them? So it was time. It was time to help some move on, to find something else that was a better fit for them. There were a few tough conversations with staff about how, okay, this is the direction we're going in. These are the things we're going to do. These are the changes I'm going to make. Because I'm making these changes, I'm expecting that you will all make these changes as well. I'm going to give everyone a chance. It's a clean slate. If whoever can't figure it out needs to just move on. And if you can't move on yourselves, I'll help you do that, because we all have to really move in the right direction here. So tough conversations. Some chose to grow with us in a positive direction, and some moved on, and that's okay. That's what I expected. As soon as we made that change ourselves, I saw the culture change amongst our gymnasts. Because what did we do? We turned around, we came back to practice, and we started talking to you guys about how your mentors in the gym, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not, that every moment that you're in the gym, these kids are looking up to you. Look at this gym. This was pre-COVID. This was way before COVID. We were packed. And everybody was practicing together, and they're looking up to you, even when you don't realize that that's what they're doing. They're listening because they think you're cool. They want to know what you're saying. They're watching your behavior. They're watching the way you treat your coaches, the way you treat your teammates, the way you treat yourselves. And that was huge. It was huge for us to start first and realize that I needed to be better at the way I treated my own staff, and then to turn around and talk to you guys about how to be better with each other and how to set the example for the next generation of leaders in the gym. So when you're at the top of the food chain, you're at the top of the food chain. Like, you've earned that spot, but heavy lays the crown, as they say, right? Like, it's a lot of pressure. And there are times, and I remember having this conversation with Hannah, like, it's tough. It's tough being the one everyone's looking up to sometimes. And it's a lot of pressure, but you know what? It's part of leadership. And some people are cut up for it. Some people aren't. That's okay. But this is what we learn in a sport like gymnastics. And I think that it just all starts from the top.
Yeah. I was so upset. I was so mad. And I think the meet that year was like in California, and I was so excited because it was like far away and seemed like such a fun meet and everything. And then my hip was just like so bad. I remember it just like happened all of a sudden in warm up, and then I just like couldn't walk. And I was just like, this isn't great. And then I thought it would kind of go away, but it just didn't for a while. And I remember it was like that whole summer that I was just like rehabbing my hip, and you were helping me out with that and everything. But yeah, no, I was definitely upset. And I think I tried to do, I think the one event I did was beam. And then I asked if I could like do my handspring series. And you were just like, probably not. Like, that's probably not the best idea. And then, yeah, I was just very upset because like you said, I just worked so hard. And then this injury just like, kind of stopped me in my tracks. But, it was it ended up being a good thing because I worked on bars a lot that summer, which I definitely needed. So, I think like with the honesty with your coaches, one, you learn to trust them more in their decisions because, it ended up being a good thing in the long run. And I needed to rest my hip because later down the road, college gymnastics.
When I didn't know what to say because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, I don't know why it's not a layout. And she was like, well, how is that? And I was like, I said something, you always say that. And I was like, yeah, I do. Oh no. But like the next day I texted Nick Ruddick. That's when like I started calling Nick more often. I was like, all right, bro, I don't know how to teach you your Shanko layout really well. Like I'm clearly over my head right now. I need help. And he saw the videos. He's like, yeah, you have some work to do. But like, I remember like that, like just not feeling in my gut. I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't know how to teach this all the way through. Cause I mean, like Heather was trying to do fulls and stuff. And I was like, there's no way I know how to teach these things the right way. So that for me was a huge gut check. It was that moment of like, ooh, that doesn't feel good at all, that like we need to change something. And so I started asking more and more for help after that. But yeah, I don't know, Hannah, do you remember that at all or no?
I remember that. I remember being like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I was using all the crappy, like, I don't know, like the fake coaching corrections that you say just when you don't know when. I was like, just set higher, just, run, we gotta go. Just hit that board harder. Right. And you're like, it literally is not helpful at all. I
think there's like something with my like shoulders or something. And I was like, I don't understand. And you always tell me that and I don't get it. Because I guess from a gymnast standpoint, you're frustrated already because you're not doing the skill the way you want to do it and it doesn't look right. And then when you don't understand the correction, and then I guess you didn't know that what you were correcting either, that everyone is just like, what's happening?
Yeah, those are called panic corrections for any coaches that are listening. So if you see something and you have no idea how to help and you just yell out random buzzwords like set higher or like throw your arms or like look at the ground, like just do some research and maybe find somebody to help you learn that skill correctly. So
I feel like I came in like 2016 and I feel like that's kind of when your strength like you started to like print them out and put them in the binders and all of that. And I just remember it was like so much different than what I had been doing before, because at my other gym, it was like, all right, let's do 500 hollow flutters. And then let's go ahead and do 100 block pushes. And then let's jump on the resi 300 times just so you feel like you're going to die. There's just like no rhyme or reason. It was just kind of like to punish us. And I feel like that's a big thing that you've definitely talked about before too. In the podcast, there's like conditioning shouldn't be a punishment. It should be to assist your gymnastics and help you, achieve a higher level and all of that and do those big skills. And honestly, all that stuff kind of got me into like strength and conditioning to begin with. So it's again kind of cool to look back retrospectively and see like how that helped my gymnastics, like when I started doing those strength programs, and how I was able to do those bigger skills and have more power in my routines. Because I definitely didn't have that before. So I feel like I kind of remember more of that, less of like the old Dave conditioning, just because I wasn't really there for it. But I just remember that helped me a lot.
Well, before when I was younger, super typical gymnastics conditioning, like so many sit-ups and I don't know, way different. And I think that when we started doing more strength, it was exciting, but it was also like super duper hard. Like when you used to have us do circuits like all the way around, we'd play the music really loud. You try to make it so fun for us because it was horrible. It's horrible. It's so hard.
That's what we did at Springfield at like 9 a.m. on the men's team. That was like a tradition that we did. So I was like, oh, I'll just bring it with us. And I was like, music will be fun. But like, I was like, dude, these are so bad. These are so bad.
And you would like do it with us and you would cheer us on and you'd encourage us to cheer each other on. I think that helped get our minds off the fact that, wow, this is, and one thing was when we did those we would like block push and like run back with like a partner and things. And you'd be like, 6 and 7 are the hardest. 6 and 7 are the hardest every time you tell us that. And I'd be like, okay, just get through these two. But I think that what was also a little frustrating is as hard as those were, we didn't see the effects right away. Like it was still frustrating in our skills, like feeling like we're at the same level we're at that we were before. So like kind of what's the point? So I guess it's good to note that it definitely takes time. Like I felt more powerful, like on vault, like definitely with my Yurchenko and things, but for technical, like, I don't know, on bars, it's like, oh, I'm doing the same skills I had before. So it takes a little bit on the gymnast side to like see a difference. And it's having like the confidence in your coaches after you've built that relationship to know like, okay, maybe this is going to work And when it finally does, it's like so relieving because it's such hard work.
The change was very different. Kind of like what Taylor said, like we would just like, it was like absurd numbers that were just like very repetitive, and it just like made no sense. Like we would do like 100 toe raises like each way, like as like our warm up. I'm like, why are we like killing my like calves before I'm even about to practice? Like this doesn't even make any sense. And then when I switched to our gym, your strength, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brutal. The cardio, I'm dying. But you would join in with us, and you would like put on the best playlist ever. So it would like make it a little better and a little more bearable to get through. And then when we started lifting, I think the best part about that was we had like a change of scenery, and just like getting to go on a bus and like hang out with each other and like go lift. It was just like very exciting and fun and just different than what probably any of us have ever experienced before in like a gymnastics practice. So, and then like the guys that were coaching us or helping us, they were so motivating, and they like really helped us transition into that, and were just very helpful in making sure that we were doing everything we were supposed to. And they would just like hype us up, and it was kind of like a fun little competition with each other. We were like, who can like max out first? Like it was just so much fun, even though it was so hot in there. It was like probably the best experience, and I was literally in the best shape of my life, and I felt like I just became so much more powerful. And a lot of like those aches and pains that I was experiencing beforehand kind of just like dwindled away. But yeah, that was my experience.
My biggest cliff was the day you walked in and said, we're going to have to take 2 hours away from balance beam practice so that we can
and bars
so that we can commute to the weightlifting gym and back. And we're just, it'll just be 8 or 10 weeks over the summer. And I was like, what do you mean? Like this, I was like, no. And then I was like, okay, fine. I trust you. Yes, this is what we need to do. But that's hard, like you have such a plan for the summer. Where, we're going to get these skills. We're going to train these kids, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do all these things, front tuck mounts all day, like just like so many plans. And so then I started calculating, and I was like, part of my job is to ensure everybody's got equal time or enough time on each event every week. And so just getting there and back, like that was an hour. So it was an hour of just travel. And I'm like, that's such precious beam time. I don't understand. But you know what? It was 100% worth it. To Hannah's point about it being new and exciting, that was huge. It was a huge way to bring you guys together. It was a nice team bonding moment. It's, I'm sure there are stories that you guys keep coming back to, memories of that time. And like, it's amazing what like a little popsicle at the end can do. Like, on a hot summer day after lifting. And so I just wanted to throw that in there because for those coaches that are worried about jumping off that cliff, I hear you, but it's worth it in the end. And when you guys came back, and we started the season up again, I was like, oh my God, I saw the difference immediately. And I know I've said that before in previous podcasts, but it was so obvious to me who had done strength all summer, who had done weightlifting all summer, and who had not. And it only improved the balance beam experience from a coaching standpoint. And then also it was easier for you guys to stay on the beam, and you got your skills. So it was fine. Like it wasn't actually lost time in the end.
So I think just communication with like the gymnast and the coach, and having that trust with each other is just like what makes it all so much better, and allows for a positive experience in the gym, and allows you to kind of get more skills because you're also being like backed up on like what you want to do and just supported.
I think, well, as a gymnast, like if I think back to when I was a gymnast and I realized I probably wasn't making the best choices at practice, thinking like, oh, if I was younger again, like what would I want to see? And I guess then if you are a coach, thinking, oh, if I was doing gymnastics again, like who would I want to coach me? And then think about what they would do or what they would say and try to build off of that. I also think that we're so eager when we're younger and we're so excited about gymnastics, but like if something's hurting you or if something's bothering you just in general, it's nice to like have the opportunity to say something. And I definitely feel like it's trickled down in our gym. Like girls that I coach that are on like the younger levels will tell me like so and so this happened today at school and I'm feeling this way. And I'm like, all right, like we'll work with that. Like let me know what you need. So I think having the communication for when I was a gymnast, it allows me to like see that it's like going through, that it's more of our culture now, not just like this one group that had good coaches. And now that you both aren't that involved in coaching anymore, like it's still going.
I guess going back to what Eva was saying about change starting at the top, like you guys just emitted this certain energy and the certain openness and all of that was like reflected in us all. So, you know, just us like learning to be like open and communicate well and like knowing our why and like all these great qualities that we could bring through life, like you guys really showed us. So thank you.